Hello vinyl community, Bradley here. You're probably saying to yourself, he's wearing that stupid hat again. One game they've won. They have not been hitting. Until the last game against the Pirates, they had some really good hits. They got in a big brawl with the Pirates, and Yasiel Puig had some really good hits. But they'll come around. Baseball is a very long season. You got to be patient. The other day, I received an album that I had pre-ordered from Barnes & Noble. I always like organ jazz. So I will start out by saying that. This album is by Joey Defrancesco, called The Key of the Universe. Double album. Probably got maybe 50, 55 minutes. There's Joey. He plays trumpet also. Like I said, this just came out on vinyl. It's been out on CD, I think, for a month or maybe two, whatever. So I waited for the vinyl. This is what you would call a spiritual jazz album. It is probably Joey's first foray into spiritual jazz. He's done all kinds of stuff through his career. He does not get stuck in a rut. He's always doing something new. Oh, I will show you the actual vinyl, which, like I said, it was from Barnes & Noble, and I don't know if this is an exclusive or they pressed all of them on. It's a really nice purple marble vinyl. Beautiful. It is not 180 gram, but feels very nice in the hand. So like I said, this is Joey's first experience with spiritual jazz. And I myself do not have hardly any spiritual jazz. I've been wanting to get into it. I wanted to pick up some of the earlier Coltrane, more of when he was progressing towards spiritual jazz. And I will. But I have not yet. First, a little background on Joey Defrancesco. He is arguably considered the best organist alive today. At least Barbara Dennerlein from Germany, she's right up there too. So they're the top two organists. And anyhow, Joey came from like 3 generations of, I believe, jazz musicians. His father and grandfather were jazz musicians. Grew up in Pennsylvania. I think the Philadelphia area. I may be wrong. By the age of 5 years old, Joey was playing Jimmy Smith songs, just note for note, on the Hammond B3 organ that his father had. And his father would take him to gigs when he was 5 years old, and he would, I don't know, he probably got up and played some. Now when he was 10 years old, this is hard to believe, but he actually was in a group with, I think, Hank Mobley and Philly Joe Jones, the drummer. He was 10 years old. So at 16 years old, he was signed to Columbia Records, put out his first album. And shortly afterwards, he joined Miles Davis' band. So Joey is a very good musician. So anyhow, and he's put out probably, I don't know, 25 to 30 albums over the years. His first one, I believe, was 1980. He's probably late 40s, I would imagine. And he also plays trumpet. He learned to play trumpet while he was in Miles Davis' band. He thought that looked cool, so he picked that up. Anyhow, on this album, which I will show again in the key of the universe, the musicians on this album are Joey plays organ and also be like a Fender Rhodes type of keyboard and trumpet. Pharaoh Sanders is on 3 of these songs, and he plays tenor sax. Billy Hart is on drums, and Billy he's probably, I'm sure he's more than 70 years old. He has played with every jazz great of the last 50 years, 55 years. He is truly an amazing drummer. On sax is Troy Roberts. He is an Australian. I think he has a trio in Australia, but he's played with Joey quite a bit. So he plays sax and also acoustic bass on some songs. And the final musician is Sammy Figueroa. He plays percussion. This is an amazing band. They're all fantastic musicians. And like I said before, I have not been into spiritual jazz. I have a couple albums, but I did want to explore that a little more. And when I found out this was coming out, I thought, well, this would be great. It's a modern album, but spiritual. So, and briefly, I've showed this album before, but this was Joey's last album of 2018 that he did with Van Morrison. Oh, You're Driving Me Crazy. Now, this is jazz blues. You've got Van singing. Troy Roberts does play sax on this album. If you like Van Morrison, you know, you'll love this. And I know I've read reviews about the album. They say it's really good, but sometimes Van's voice is just kind of, you know, he's getting up there in years. But to be honest, you know, for blues, Van could grunt and groan because he does it in such a bluesy way. Seriously, that it sounds fantastic. So anyhow, back to this Joey's newest album. He has always been known to play the Hammond B3. I do know the last few albums, he does not play a Hammond B3. He's entered into endorsement with Viscount organs and also Nord keyboards. So you're listening to this song and it's got the organ sounds. I play Hammond organ. I couldn't tell the difference, you know. The only problem I have is when I see a picture right there. That is not a Hammond B3, and it just kind of gets at me, you know, because it emulates the Hammond B3 sound. Just like when guitarists have a Fender Telecaster sound to their album or whatever, and you find out they're playing some knockoff or something. Well, why don't they just use the original? That's my 2 cents worth on that. Anyhow, I'll just go over a few of these songs. Like I said, it's a 2-disc album. The first song is called Inner Being. Great composition. This sounds like Coltrane. I think Troy Roberts is playing the soprano sax. It sounds like one of those Coltrane albums where he's making the transition to spiritual soul jazz. Sounds excellent. The second song also, Vibrations in Blue, kind of almost a Middle Eastern. It's got, almost sounds like a sitar drone. Definitely spiritual. Sounds great. And a couple of these songs, Joey will play the organ notes in tandem with Troy Roberts on some of these passages in these songs. So it's a distinct sound that, you know, I'm sure you've heard on other records, but it kind of mixes it up a little. Now on the second side is where Pharoah Sanders, Pharoah plays on 3 songs, plays sax on 3 of these songs. So in the Key of the Universe, which is the title track, Pharoah is playing on this song. Purely, it's good spiritual jazz. Now the second song on side 2 is a song that Pharoah wrote a long time ago. So it's a redo, although shorter. The creator has a master plan, which I believe that was on the Karma album a long time ago. So they're redoing that, although they cut it down probably half. And also, I think Billy Hart, the drummer, I think he played on that original album of Pharoah's. So, and then Pharoah also plays on a third song, and So It Is. Which that one has a little bit of freeness as far as, well, Pharoah and sax. Now I'll just skip to the last side of the 2-record set. Just 2 songs on it, and these songs I would not call them spiritual jazz. First one is a ballad, beautiful. Joey plays a trumpet also on that album, or that song. Then the last song, Easier to Be, more of a, maybe a post-bop song. Very beautiful. So, you know how sometimes you buy an album and you play it the first time and you know you're going to love it. And other albums you have to play 2 or 3 times. And this is one of those. I played it the first time and I thought, I don't know. Second time, by the third time, I realized this is a very good album. So if you're new to spiritual jazz, and you don't know where to begin, this would be an excellent beginning, as well as some of them old Coltrane albums. But I'm very, very happy with this. It's been on my turntable for the last 24 hours. I've been playing it a lot. So anyhow, I think that's all I have to say today. Like I said, if you're new to spiritual jazz, you might want to give this album a chance. I think it's great. Good sound. Nice pressing and everything. So, I think that's all I have to say today. Looks like it's going to be a nice sunny day outside, so I'll try to get outside and do a little yard work. So, this is Bradley. I'll catch you later. See ya.